Charlie Kirk, a prominent conservative commentator and MAGA star, was shot dead at Utah Valley University. The 31-year-old was a close ally of President Donald Trump and was credited with playing a key role in convincing younger Americans to vote for him in the 2024 election. But Charlie Kirk was a controversial figure, to say the very least. He was vocal about his disdain for liberal viewpoints on issues like gun control, LGBTQ, and the civil rights movement. In 2023, Kirk said that gun deaths were worth it to ensure the preservation of the Second Amendment rights in the US, which is the right to keep and bear arms. When asked how to defend the Second Amendment amid public outcry after mass shootings, Kirk said, "I'm a big Second Amendment fan."
You're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe. So then how do you reduce? Very simple. People say, "Oh, Charlie, how do you stop school shootings?" I don't know. How did we stop shootings at baseball games? Because we have armed guards outside of baseball games. That's why. How did we stop all the shootings at airports? We have armed guards outside of airports. How do we stop all the shootings at banks? We have armed guards outside of banks. How do we stop all the shootings at gun shows? Notice there's not a lot of mass shootings at gun shows. There's all these guns because everyone's armed.
Charlie Kirk had called civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. awful and not a good person. He had called the civil rights movement a huge mistake. He called George Floyd a scumbag at one campus event and made repeated disputed claims about Floyd's death. During an episode of his podcast, Kirk said, "I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified." At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Kirk posted about the China virus, a phrase that was later adopted by President Trump himself in his first term. In a 2021 interview to Tucker Carlson, Kirk compared pandemic vaccine requirements to apartheid. In a 2024 post, he also talked about the Great Displacement, a widely debunked conspiracy theory suggesting that undocumented immigrants entering the United States to replace the white Americans. Kirk had repeatedly stated that women should prioritize motherhood over careers, asserting that young women are suffering because they are encouraged to focus on jobs over families. Criticizing birth control, he said that it makes women angry and bitter and that females over 30 aren't attractive in the dating pool. Comparing abortion to the Holocaust, Kirk said, "We allow the massacre of 1.5 million babies a year under the guise of women's reproductive health. We are allowing babies to be taken away and discarded every single year, just saying they are not humans." He added it is never right to justify the mass termination of people under the guise of saying that they are unwanted. That's how we got Auschwitz. That's how we got the greatest horror of the 20th century. Kirk was a prominent anti-LGBTQ activist, frequently voicing opposition to their rights and policies. He was known for describing progressive stances on gender and sexuality as sexual anarchy, claiming that Democrats want a society where there is no cultural identity. In 2024, Kirk said, "Transgenderism is a mental disorder. I want people who are suffering from transgenderism to get help and care because I have compassion for people." In 2023, he described trans people as a throbbing middle finger to God and an abomination. Kirk had recently made inflammatory and racist remarks about Indians. He said America was full and that they needed to put their own people first. In a post on X, Kirk wrote, "America does not need more visas for people from India. Perhaps no form of legal immigration has so displaced American workers as those from India. Enough already. We're full. Let's finally put our own people first." Kirk was a staunch defender of Israel's war on Gaza. While many have accused Israel of starving the Palestinian people, Kirk had rejected this argument. He said, no, Israel is not starving Gazans. Kirk had also called images of starving children in Gaza propaganda, saying it's emotional, visual, optical warfare.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.